Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is April the 25th, 2026. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Saturday, everyone. Hopefully you're having a good day, a good weekend. As for mine, it has been good. It's been a fun time. But let's wind it back to Friday. It was a bit bittersweet. But we wake up, we get to work, and I start off work on a bad note. My lead comes up to me, and essentially I get like a soft reprimand for being on my phone too much, which, I kind of alluded to in the previous episode. I was like, okay, all right, whatever. But I was just stewing over it. I was mad about it. I was salty over it. And, really, it's spilt milk. It's not a big deal. It's not like it's even a written reprimand, something that was on record. But just the nature of like, oh, well, management saw you on your phone and they didn't like that, so we had to talk to you. It just put me out. It really was just like, oh, this would have been a normal good Friday, just on the job, get it done, get out of here. But needless to say, I think I got out like an hour and a half early. I was like, fuck it, I want to leave. Let me go. And did a quick little workout. Went to the gym for like 30 minutes, but it was nice, nice little quick pump. Then came home, hung out for a little bit, then went to go see Zoe, got to hang out, which was fun. We had a nice little Friday night situation. And this is where we get into the food corner. This is where it really starts to get good. We went to this place called Salem Gardens. Very, I believe it's giving like a bar pub situation with a nice little food menu. And, we both get I guess let's start with the thing that we were requesting over. We have been looking for past like couple weeks for fried pickles. Preferably, I like the fried pickle spears. I enjoy those a little bit more. But any will do. The medallions are great. However, whenever we were looking for them. We're on a hunt. They're not, like we got a list of places we were trying to hit. So this is one of them, and that was like their main reason, our main reason for coming. And so we got that, and then some pretzel bites, because y'all know I love a good pretzel appetizer. And both are very good. I will say the fried pickles were giving like very generic. I think either the ranch is supposed to be like this jalapeno situation, but I feel like neither of us are really feeling like the jalapeno vibe of them. But they were good. They were yummy. I did like the pretzel bites a lot, so those are good. Then we also got burgers. Also, the menu it was a pretty decent menu. They had salads, they had sandwiches, soups were also, I think, a potential menu option, and they had fish. I was like, wow, okay, all right, fish on the menu. But yeah, we both got burgers, and I believe we got the Charlie O burger. And I might be getting all the details of this burger wrong, but they had it was 2 quarter pounders. So we were in a double quarter pounder situation with cheese, lettuce, onion, and pickle. Now, I was initially kind of wanting a bacon and blue burger. So instead of getting that, I got this, and I added blue cheese, and I added some bacon to it, and it hit. It was a ripper. It was a very good burger. Got a bit of that blue cheese mold going on there, and it was a nice stack burger. I had to like unhinge my jaw to make that work. So very yummy. Also, a side of onion rings. The onion rings were really good, and I got a side of barbecue sauce, which I'm known to do, and I gotta say their barbecue sauce was a bit It was on the thinner side and too sweet. But overall, it was usable. Like, I wasn't like, this has ruined my onion ring or anything like that. And the onion ring fry, the fry of the onion ring, so good, so money, and a good ratio of onion rings. And then Zoe got a similar burger, just no bacon and like American cheese, I think, and a fry, which was, good, standard fry, crinkle cut situation. So that was a really yummy meal. Enjoyed that. Um, Came back to the house. We hung out, all that. Next day, we get up and I want to say, it's around like the afternoon. And I'm thinking like, where do we want to go? Let's get some food. And we wind up landing on the original Pancake House. I have never been there, so this is a first for me. As is what the name is telling you, they're giving pancakes. So that is what I wanted to get, and that is what Zoe got as well. I got some sourdough pancakes, which I've never had before. Very interesting. I got those. I got an order of bacon, which bacon was also very good. Then I got some Gouda, because I feel like I just don't eat enough Gouda. I've had Gouda on one occasion, which I made at home, and then maybe I've had it like out and about, like maybe someone's giving me like a sample or something or taste of theirs. But yeah, I just haven't had like Gouda very often. So I'm like, all right, let's go ahead and put that on the plate. And then Zoe got a thing of I believe it was like shredded potatoes for us to eat with cheese and peppers. Very yummy. So everything came out. It was all very good. I definitely enjoy the sourdough pancakes. But Zoe asked me a question that really, like, it kind of puzzled me. It really had me thinking. And she was like, where is your favorite place to get a pancake? Like, and it's as I was eating this one. And I was like, these are very good. Like, definitely. Like, I definitely want to come back to Original Pancake House and have this again. Because they have so many pancakes. They also have a Dutch baby. I've never had a Dutch baby. And I've heard those were good. So definitely a lot of options. I think I'll go back next time and just get their OG buttermilk pancakes, and that'll help me answer this question currently posed. I think actually it is first watch, which sounds corny, it sounds lame, and I'm sure there's people with tomatoes ready to boo me, the mayor of Tomato Town, but I don't know. They're big. They're so big, and I love a big pancake, and I like them to be a little fluffy, and it kind of delivers on that. And I think, like, honestly, my second is also maybe a weird answer to some people at Cracker Barrel. The griddle cakes are really good, and I really like eating them, and they make me happy. And there's the IHOP full stack, but that's just something that you can just get in any hour. Like, I feel like a lot of times, like, with every one of these pancakes, there's almost like a story attached to it, and that's why I like them so much. But man, I really just, like I said, I really love a big, fluffy pancake. That really hits. That's why I want to try the Japanese style pancake, the big, fluffy one. But I've never had it. And then anyone who's tried it, they're like, they're not worth it. They're not good. And I'm like, man, what the fuck? Are you gatekeeping? But I believe them. They have a better palate than me. Hold on. I know we're not even done blogging about my fucking weekend, but I need a water break. All right. So from there, we hung out a little bit, and she had to. Well, I had to. She was going to a friend's birthday situation, so we, parted ways from there in the afternoon or evening, really, yeah. And I had some gym time, and this time I decided that I was gonna try to get after it a little bit harder. Though I'm still kind of staying in with that hour time frame. I don't see really much reason to say, oh, well, today I got the time, so let's put in 2 hours. I'm kind of good on that. Excuse me. So, I got in there and there was a free Smith machine. Oh, it was so nice. It's so dead on Saturdays, apparently. Oh my gosh. I wish every day was like this night. It was so nice to have to see an empty gym. But I got on a Smith machine, and I decided to push it, at least in terms of like the weight. So I tried to do like 315 bench, struggled through that at the start, and then just kind of worked my way down to I think I did like 245 or 225. I think it was 225 was like, where we cut off. And then I did, some incline pinch at like 225, which is around my max there. Then we get to the squats and the deadlifts, and I did those at my maxes, which was good. I will say, though, we definitely struggled on the max deadlift. We barely got the one up. And I was like, hey, it's 365. We're still moving it. We're still making it happen. We're still making it shake. Cool. Love that for me. But it was good to see that I can still do it, but at the same time it's frustrating because I feel like there should be more progress in that regard. I would have liked to see that, but I just know that that's not really what I'm in the gym for right now. Like that's not really where the training arc is taking me, so to speak. But that being said, definitely a solid workout. I did some core work, and then I did about 30 minutes of cardio after all that. So that was good. And then normally that's when, we come home, yada, yada, yada. But I still wanted to eat. I'm still in an eater mode. So I go to Skyline because I've been wanting this since I saw it this week. But I can't pronounce it right. But I think it's called a squigoni. It's called a squigoni. And essentially what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to take out the hot dog and then put on the spaghetti, and then you dress it all normal from there, right? And then you have your little cheese coney, but instead, once again, it's got spaghetti in there. And I just really wanted that. That sounded really good. And then also they have this jalapeno chilito dip, Skyline chilito dip or whatever. And I'm like, I kind of want that too. So it was, and that's like essentially a little burrito wrap. They put the Fritos in there, some Skyline chili dip, and in this situation, it's jalapeno dip, and it's yummy. So I was like, all right, I want that. So I go to order it, and I say, hey, I want the squigoni, and I feel like an idiot, saying this. Also, I don't like being the guy who's like trying to order like secret menu stuff. Like, I think it is corny, but like I'm a fat guy and I want your food. It sounds yummy now that I know about it. And I'll pay, what do you mean? Like, I'm not doing the hack to try to like get out of paying. So I don't feel like it's that kind of hack. I feel like I'm not trying to cheat the system. Just give me my big back order. Okay. That's what I want. So anyway, I ordered the squigoni and, everything else I was looking to get. And, he runs back my order and I'm like, no, he just rang it up like a normal cheese coney. And I get that. That's fair. That's valid. And I said, no, sir. I want to sub out the hot dog, for the spaghetti. And he goes, oh, okay. That's fine. Yeah. And, then I'm like, fuck it. Do that. And then add a normal cheese coney to it too. So in total, I get the chilito, I get the squigoni, and I get a normal cheese coney. And then, and this is how I know though the dude was a G. Because he gets everything in the bag, and I go, hey, could I get some hot sauce? He's like, I already got it in there. And I'm like, thank you, dude. So, I get home. Not to mention, he not just puts the hot sauce in the bag, he also had the oyster crackers. Iconic. He's so G shit. He knew what I needed in my darkest hour. So I laid everything out. And, I'm excited. I love a good little food moment where I get to just go gremlin mode on some fucking food. And I proceed to pick it up. And I go, man, this is heavy. I did not expect this to be heavy. In fact, I expected it to be lighter, but maybe not. Okay. And I take a bite. And they're hot. The hot dog is still in there. He did not sub it out. He added. So, you know what? He did me a favor because that's what I truly wanted. I didn't know I wanted it that way, but that's how I needed it. And it was good. It was yummy. And that's how I suggest anyone do it in the future. By all means, I'm sure it hits different to have it like, Skyline chili throughout the bit. But, ooh, it was nice. It felt like I was having a double-decker situation. With the Skyline crackers in there. Yeah. Oh boy. That would be tragic to eat that shit kind of once a week even. But anyway, that was good. The chilito was good. The cheese coney was good. So nice. The big backening continues. And I love that for me. So yeah, that's been the weekend. That is, and it's only Saturday night. Granted, I'm tired. And there's a lot of news that we got to get into. So, that's why I'm here, of course. So yeah, let's go ahead and do our startup and let's get into the news. Let me take on some more water. Oh, also, I didn't mention what Zoe got at Original Pancake House, did I? She got the blueberry pancakes. They were very yummy. And then also some Geta. And also, I didn't mention this with the Geta. The Geta was good. But I definitely, like I said, I like Geta like maybe once a year. I didn't need that much Geta. I think if I just had a couple of little forkfuls of her Geta, I would have been satisfied with that. But by the number, Geta just is good. I love oats. I love meat. And it's like, all right, you mash them together? God damn, that sounds so yummy. But it's a bit much. It's a bit much. Too much protein, believe it or not. Excuse me. Oh. Oh. Ooh. Sorry, I'm going ghost mode. Ugh. All right, we got some breaking news from CBS News. Trump safe after shots fired at White House Correspondents' Dinner. Suspect in custody. President Trump was safely evacuated from the White House Correspondents' Dinner Saturday night following a shooting outside the ballroom of the Washington Hilton Hotel. The suspect is in custody, neutralized but alive, officials said. The evacuation occurred just after 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, after the sound of gunfire sent attendees scurrying and ducking under tables. Mr. Trump and First Lady Melania Trump were whisked off the stage by Secret Service agents. Footage from the dinner showed security agents rushing through the crowd of tables and removing other government officials in attendance. Men armed with rifles also appearing on the stage after Mr. Trump was evacuated. Weijia Jiang, president of the White House Correspondents Association and CBS News senior White House correspondent, took to the stage and reiterated that President Trump, First Lady Melania Trump, and members of President Trump's cabinet were not hurt. As she told the crowd of reporters that the president would be holding a press conference, Jiang quipped, "This is not a joke." Jiang told those in attendance that the president wanted to continue with the dinner, but has to follow security protocols. Journalism is a public service because when there is an emergency, we run to the crisis, not away from it, she said. And on the night when we are thinking about the freedoms of the First Amendment, we must also think about how fragile they are. Noting that many of the journalists attending the dinner quickly shifted to reporting on the night's events, Jiang said, "That's what we do." Let's see, I'm just going to skip ahead here a little bit. So it's kind of a little bit of personal blazing here, whatever. And hey, you survived. President Donald Trump said on Truth Social that law enforcement has requested that he leave the site of the dinner and will do so immediately. He said that he will give a press conference from the White House briefing room. The First Lady plus the Vice President and all cabinet members are in perfect condition, he said. President Trump said that he has spoken with those in charge of the event and we will be rescheduling within 30 days. For some reason, I'm kind of surprised that they're just going to rain check this shit. I kind of would just call it. I don't know. Is the White House Correspondent Dinner that important? I feel like we cover it for the shock value. You know, they do a little roast on the president talks some shit, whatever, and we move along. But hey, I mean, I guess you want to have it, to say you have it, and things aren't disrupted, whatever. Let's see here. The condition of those involved is not yet known, and law enforcement is actively assessing the situation, he said. Trump said the shooter has been apprehended and urges the dinner to go on. They have a quote from him. I don't feel like reading it, though. But yeah, like I said, they do plan on having it again. He wanted the show to go on, but they said, no, that's bad protocol. You know, we gotta be safe. And they don't mention the name or anything of the shooter as of yet. I imagine, probably even by tomorrow, that information will become available. Let's see, at least 6 shots were fired before the gunman was neutralized, sources say. A law enforcement source told CBS News that at least 6 shots were fired before the gunman at the White House Correspondents' dinner was neutralized. But yada yada yada. So yeah, we'll come back. We'll definitely come back to the story. Hey, I mean, yeah, the people are still popping shots at the president. I don't know what to fucking tell you. Anyway, next story is from Yahoo Finance. DOJ, or the Department of Justice, drops investigation of Fed Chair Jerome Powell. The Department of Justice is dropping its criminal probe of Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, clearing a key obstacle to confirmation of Kevin Warsh, President Trump's nominee to replace Powell at the central bank. U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., Janine Perot, announced Friday that her office is closing its investigation, launched in January, into whether Powell lied to Congress in testimony last summer about cost overruns on renovations to the Fed's headquarters. She wrote on X that she is handing over the matter to the Fed's internal watchdog. This morning, the Inspector General for the Federal Reserve has been asked to scrutinize the building cost overruns in the billions of dollars that have been borne by taxpayers. The IG has the authority to hold the Federal Reserve accountable to taxpayers, to American taxpayers. Excuse me. I expect a comprehensive report in short order, and I am confident the outcome will assist in resolving, once and for all, the questions that led this office to issue subpoenas. Accordingly, I have directed my office to close our investigation as the IG undertakes this inquiry. Note well, however, that I will not hesitate to restart a criminal investigation should the facts warrant doing so. Like, this is real tough talk when you're in a situation where you have to back down. Like, which we're getting here. We're getting to. As long as this investigation remained open, Warsh had no clear path to confirmation. Republican Senator Tom Tillis, who sits on the Senate Banking Committee, vowed to block the confirmation until the probe was dropped. This week, during Warsh's hearing before the committee, he called it bogus, even as he praised Warsh's qualifications for the post. This was a big game of chicken that the administration was coming to over the Powell issue. Like, they knew they didn't even have a strong case here, but they're like, look, Trump has told him time and time again to lower interest rates, and he won't. So we are now going through this whole process, even though they're not related. It's not related. This is not a vindictive personal attack with the DOJ. Of course not. Of course fucking not. But needless to say, we're all here. And Tom Tillis is like, dude, this is so ridiculous. Like, he's like, I'm on your guys' side here. It's just, we can't have this actually be decorum. This can't be the way this works. And then also, Powell has said, hey, I'll stay on pro tem, or whatever the fuck that means. Essentially saying he was going to stay past his term at least until the investigation was going to be concluded. And it's like, dude, like, his term is going to be up in May 15th. Like, Trump is going to get what he wants and get some fucking spineless fucking nematode to come in and just give him what he wants. He just had to be patient. But even down to this last minute, he really didn't want to. But Tom Tillis is like, look, man, like, no, the buck's got to stop here. and we are seeing some senators get like this. They are kind of seeing the forest, for the trees or whatever the fuck. They're seeing that, like, yes, the God Emperor is not infinite. I mean, granted, we don't know yet. I mean, come to 2028, he might try something. I don't know, I'm sure prediction markets are going to be up for that. But at the end of the day, he's talking successor. He's talking, we are already getting there. And there's also things that it's like, hey, if we lose in the midterms, that's going to make all this shit even more messy. But that's not here, there. I'm kind of getting in the weeds myself. But essentially everyone's saying, hey, man, to some extent, at least with Tillis, he's like, you got to stop. You got to cut this out. And the administration's like, okay, fine. Yeah, all right. We'll do it this way. We'll let the internal affairs look this over, actually. And then if they say you're good, then you'll be good. But I do hope, I think that Powell can stay on as like some kind of governor, in the Fed or whatever, the Federal Reserve, which I think you want as many even hands as possible. Not that I'm saying that, oh, Powell's a good guy, he's got my, but at least he stood on his business or whatever, which is like literally what he was hired to do by Donald Trump, by the way. That's another reason why I think this Kevin Warsh guy is just a fucking, I don't know, man. It's giving cowardice. It's giving jellyfish. I don't think this guy is going to really actually stand on, like, actually like keeping interest rates where they need to be for the sake of the economy. I think if Trump yells at him, loud enough, long enough, he will say, okay, all right, I'll capitulate. Because that's what he did to even get this job. He went from being a person who was like aligned with like Biden era politics and economy view to being like someone who's drastically aligned with what Trump wants. Like, he just did that. He just moved himself down the scale. Also, it's worth noting that I believe his father-in-law or some shit are like besties with Trump. So it's like, this is all in-house, man. This isn't surprising. I think there's some people who are coming out and saying, no, actually, Kevin Warsh has like made moments here and here and here where he's shown that he can be practical and pragmatic and blah, 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 blah. It's like, why are you wasting my time? Like, why am I really listening to this shit on Odd Lots? Because I like this shit. I'm a freak for this shit. Anyway, that's my take on it. I'm actually glad to see this happening. Not that I'm like rooting for Jerome Powell, but it's like he's one of the guys who at least seems like, hey, I'm trying to be a clear-headed, normal person, and I don't give a fuck about Donald Trump's legacy. I give a fuck about the Fed. Like, that's my job. Whether I'm right, whether I'm wrong, I'm here to like stand on what I think is correct. I sit down with a bunch of other fucking people and I make a decision, and that's what I've been doing. And like, there's that. Like, you could at least in these crazy time, like trying times, okay, cool, I guess. So once again, there's the news there. Anyway, let's move on. We got to go to Meta, and I need a water break. I am thirsty. Ugh. All right, from the BBC. Meta to cut 1 in 10 jobs after spending billions on AI. Meta will cut thousands of jobs next month as it spends more than ever on artificial intelligence, or AI projects. The company told employees in a memo on Thursday that it planned to cut 10% of its workforce, roughly 8,000 staff. It said it would also not fill thousands more open jobs it had been hiring for. A key reason for the layoffs is Meta's increased spending in other areas of the company, including AI, for which it will this year spend $135 billion. This is roughly equal to the amount it has spent on AI in the previous 3 years combined, according to a person who viewed the memo. A spokesperson for Meta confirmed the job cuts, but declined to comment further. Mark Zuckerberg, Meta's co-founder and chief executive, I got a burp coming, made public comments in January that essentially telegraphed the company would be cutting jobs again this year. The Meta boss said he had seen how much more productive workers who relied heavily on AI tools had become, noting a single person could now complete projects that would have previously required a large team. I want to take a random stop here. Because this sentence reminded me of a thing that I've heard before in companies that you really hate to see, that not only is like the AI integration very heavy, but like there almost becomes like a performance like litmus test, like how much are you using the AI? The more you're using the AI, the more we think you're actually being productive. And it's like, yes, your results matter, but they matter in position juxtaposed to that aspect of how much you're using the AI that we've now are supplying you, which is really weird because I think we all would want it to be different. You would want it to be the opposite. Like, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm personally providing, and I didn't have to use this like thing. It's like, no. We want you to use it. We've invested so much into it. We need you to use it. And it's like, I mean, okay, but like I'm making good progress with the amount that I'm using it. Okay, cool, but we want you to use it more and we think you'll be so much more productive. It's just already become this idea that you have to use it more. And in fact, we will reward you for using it more and will penalize you for using it less. And it's like, what the fuck? But let's read this quote. I think that 2026 is going to be the year that AI starts to dramatically change the way that we work, Zuckerberg said. I mean, yeah, you're forcing that to happen. So, I mean, you and a lot of other companies. Last week, Reuters news agency reported that Meta was planning to cut potentially more than 10,000 employees this year. The memo to employees on Thursday was the first reported by Bloomberg. While Meta has already cut around 2,000 workers in smaller rounds of layoffs already this year, employees have braced for weeks for a much deeper cut, as the BBC previously reported. Meta's spending and internal focus had shifted heavily in recent months toward catching up on the development of AI models and tools. Man, another thing this reminds me of too, like, Meta is basing, like, they're putting all their eggs in this fucking basket. But what was it, like 5? Definitely not 10 years ago. Like, because we're thinking post-COVID, that, like, he was all in on the fucking metaverse. And everyone was like, bro, you're such a fucking idiot. No one wants to do this. Like, no one needs a fake house in the metaverse next to Snoop Dogg. Like, no one gives a shit. No one's paying for this. No one's investing in this. This is worse than NFTs somehow. What the fuck? Like, all this shit went bust, went vapor. But yet, okay, here we are. Here's the next fucking thing. And everyone is careening into it. We are betting everyone's shit. People's 401k is potentially involved and wrapped up in AI somehow, some fucking way. And it all feels like this bubble that will pop in some way. And there's economists out there saying, like, I mean, yeah, probably. Sure, it's going to burst. And sure, there's going to be some people on the lower end of it that are going to be affected. But, like, you know, there's this logic now that if you don't get in, you're done. Like, if you don't get into this AI thing, you're cooked. And that leads me kind of back to the top of, like, once again, it becomes a thing that's molded into your productivity, whether you want it to or not. And that's scary. Not to mention, it is a thing that's potentially driving you to even lose your job in the future because they need to pay for the AI. Fuck. It's just like, it's so fucked. There's just no winning from this shit. And then they go a bit of the history, you know, in terms of some of the layoffs. Amazon has laid off more than 30,000 workers. Oracle laid off more than 10,000 workers. Block, which is among the smaller tech companies, laid off nearly half of its staff, totaling more than 4,000 workers. And Snap, another smaller tech company, has laid off around 1,000. Like, once again, these are all companies that are saying, hey, we can consolidate with AI. And in doing so, boom, we can just delete all these people. They just don't matter. They never really did. And, you know, we can just move on without them. And we don't even have to hire any new people either. So, that sucks. It's a bummer. There's no good to really talk about to this shit. So, I don't know. But hey, sometimes you just got to get to this shit and get through this shit. Let's move on to our next one. And yet again, I find myself quite botched. But this is from the Chicago Sun-Times. Chicago police officer dead, another critically wounded in shooting at Swedish hospital. Suspect in custody. Oh, man. Oh. A Chicago police officer was killed and another was fighting for his life after being wounded in a shooting Saturday morning at Endeavor Health Swedish Hospital, the city's top cop said. Police, I believe it's a superintendent, Larry Snelling, told reporters the officers had taken the suspected gunman, who had been arrested earlier on suspicion of robbery, to the hospital for an observation around 10:50 a.m. The officer who was killed was 38 and had worked for the police department for 10 years, Snelling said. The wounded officer, who was being treated at Illinois Masonic Medical Center, is 57 and has worked for CBD for 21 years, Snelling said. The officers' names have not been released. The suspected shooter was taken into custody after fleeing the hospital following the shooting, which led to brief warnings to shelter in place in the neighborhood around the hospital of 5140 North California Avenue. according to officials and sources. We have a lot to unravel here, Snelling said at a news conference Saturday afternoon near Illinois Masonic. And I just want to be clear about one thing. We can talk about the crime and the criminal activity that led up to this, but right now, this is about these officers and their families. The loss of life, the senseless loss of life of an officer who was out simply to protect the city. Another officer who was fighting for his life, attempting to protect the city. It wasn't immediately clear how the suspected gunman had a gun after he was taken into custody. A surveillance photo obtained by the Sun-Times appears to show him running naked with electrodes on his chest. See, this is a whole ass fucking thing. I'm like, I haven't heard much about this story. I just got the ticker update that was like, okay, 2 officers were wounded. Then I come to find out, okay, one of them died. But yeah, there was a whole, I guess, escape from a hospital situation. This dude's running fucking bucky butt naked. Somehow got rearmed. Endeavor Health, the hospital system that includes Swedish Health, said the suspect had was wanted upon arrival as part of its public safety weapon detection protocols. Endeavor noted the suspect was escorted by law enforcement at all times, and no hospital staff or patients were injured. Police sources initially said the suspected shooter disarmed one of the officers who was shot, but later Saturday, source said police officers only realized the suspect was armed when he was stripped down at the hospital before opening fire. Snelling said police investigating the shooting had recovered 3 weapons. So yeah, like Snelling said, a lot to unpack here, a lot to get through. Obviously a very unfortunate happening, big shooter episode here. Actually, that's how we're going to be closing out the episode, is with another shooting. But yeah, that's the news in America, baby. I don't know what to tell you. Ain't nobody safe. From The Guardian, roommate charged with murder in deaths of University of South Florida doctoral students. All right, let me go ahead and take my last break because yet again, I'm a little thirsty Tony tonight. But hey, it's good to drink water. You gotta stay hydrated. Ooh. All right. The man who was detained after 2 Bangladeshi doctoral students went missing from the University of South Florida, or USF, has been booked with 2 counts of murder. Hisham, I'm totally going to be fucking this up, but Abu Harbe faces 2 counts of premeditated murder in the first degree with a weapon in the deaths of Zamal Lehman and Nahida Bristi, the Hillsborough County Sheriff announced on Saturday. Abu Harbe was the off-campus apartment roommate of Lehman, whose remains were discovered on Friday morning on the Howard Franklin Bridge over Tampa Bay. Bristi remained missing as of Saturday morning. Nonetheless, unspecified evidence presented to the local state attorney's office led to Abu Harbe being booked with her murder in addition to Lehman's. The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office said it would not be commenting on the findings in the case against Abu Harbe to protect the integrity of the investigation. After the discovery of Lehman's remains, Abu Harbe had been arrested at his family's home nearby on preliminary charges that included unlawfully moving a dead body, failure to report a death, tampering with evidence, false imprisonment, and battery. Officers encountered Abu Harbe as they responded to a report of domestic violence at his family's home just north of the campus, and were able to remove his relatives to safety. He then barricaded himself inside and refused to come out. A special tactical team responded, along with a drone, a robot, and a crisis negotiator, before Abu Harbe came out with his hands up, apparently wearing nothing but a blue towel. Well, I guess also a lot of nudity a little bit in this episode. But hey, so it goes. That's the news. I don't make the news. I just tell you the news. Let's see. Limon and Bristi, both 27, were a couple, and they were considering marriage, a relative said. They disappeared from the USF campus on April 16th. Lehman, who was studying geography, environmental science, and policy, was last seen at his home in an apartment complex where he lived with Abu Harbe. Bristi, who was studying chemical engineering and lived on campus, was last seen an hour later at the campus science building. Investigators said they interviewed Abu Harbe, who is a U.S. citizen, on Thursday, but Abu Harbe ended the interview. He was speaking with detectives again after his arrest on Friday. Abu Harbe is considered the only suspect in the case, which gained national media attention after it was reported. He made an initial court appearance on Saturday in Tampa, where he was ordered held without bond. A hearing in his case was tentatively set for April 28th. An autopsy was being done on Lehman to determine his manner and cause of death. Results were possible by Saturday, according to investigators. This is a deeply disturbing case that has shaken our community and affected many who were hoping for a safe resolution, the Hillsborough County Sheriff, Chad Chronister, that's a name, said. While the discovery of Zamo Liman's remains is heartbreaking, I want the public to know that our detectives worked and are working tirelessly and relentlessly to uncover the truth. Abu Harbe had studied at USF, but was not enrolled at the time of his arrest. University records showed he had attended the school from 2021 to 2023 and had pursued his bachelor's in science and management, a USF spokesperson said. He had several previous arrests, the sheriff's office said. He was charged with battery and burglary of an unoccupied dwelling in September of 2023, and with battery that May, both classified in court as misdemeanors. Court records show Abu Harbe may have entered into a diversion program. The Associated Press reported calling his lawyer in the case, but the call was not immediately returned. Hillsborough County court records showed 2 domestic violence petitions filed by a family member in 2023. A judge granted an injunction in one case and denied the other petition. They have a little bit more details about Lehman and Bristi. Obviously, their passing, though, is sad. It's very unfortunate. I would like to come back to the story, though, with more details in terms of maybe what was the motive here. Sure, we have like a rap sheet and at least a timeline of events, but we don't know, what prompted Abu Harbe to like snap and act in this way. I would like to know that. Hopefully I can come back to the podcast with more details there. And of course, on any of these stories. That's it. That is all I have for today on this fine Saturday evening. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/Isaiah News. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, isaiahnews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube, follow on TikTok, follow on Spotify, follow on Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to listen. Let's see. Leave a like, leave a cool comment. Sharing is caring. 5 stars on Spotify, 5 stars on Apple Podcasts are always appreciated. But you don't gotta do any of that. I just appreciate you listening. I think it's really cool. Thank you for being so nice, and whenever you leave a reaction, or you hit me up, or you let me know you even listen, that shit is so cool. Never, I am not faking the funk. That shit makes me so fucking happy to know. So yeah, Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I'll see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.